JJ McCarthy, where's he going? So FanDuel has now the Vikings, due to the recent move to move their certain quarterback, Kirk Cousins, out the door. And the Falcons, of course, scooping him up for a ridiculous amount of money. Well, now the Vikings need a quarterback. And so JJ McCarthy is plus 150 to go to the Vikings. And then I like him. So TJ, I really like the idea of him at the Giants. And the reason I like that idea is because Danny Dimes can still be the quarterback. JJ can learn, and they can do what Michigan did in 2021. When you need a little bit more of a dynamic quarterback, a run threat, you put JJ in for a series or two. That's what Michigan did. And hey, it led to a Big Ten championship win and an Ohio State beating Ohio State. So maybe you put him in, sprinkle him in. He learns from Daniel Jones and from Daboll and that staff. And then maybe next year, I like that scenario where he doesn't have to start like snap one, game one. He can learn, because there's so many differences between college and the NFL, internally, externally. There's a lot that you have to learn when you're starting out. So I think it would be great if he could sit at least a little while to learn. But where do you kind of fall into all this? Looking at the FanDuel line here.
Yeah. Well, I think Falcons should be not on the line because they just got Kirk Cousins, right? But yeah, I think you bring a good point though, because if you look at like what Jordan Love or what Aaron Rodgers did with Brett Favre, I mean, we've seen the evidence in the NFL where just sitting behind for a year or two really helps a quarterback really develop, learn the game, understand the ins and outs of it. Plus, in a market like New York, that might not be a bad thing, right? Because the media is probably the most aggressive in all of sports. I personally think the Vikings are going to be gunning for JJ McCarthy. Now, I know the Vikings have pick 11, right? And the Patriots, or not the Patriots, but the Giants are pick 6, I believe.
I think so.
They are. So the Minnesota's going to have to trade up to get him. But if you look at what's going on with Minnesota right now, they obviously don't have Kirk Cousins. They just signed Sam Darnold to be their veteran quarterback. So it seems, I feel like the Vikings are going to try and get ahead of the Patriots. And I do think you're right, though, between the Vikings and the Patriots, the Vikings and the Giants, I just think those two teams are going to be the most aggressive for JJ McCarthy. Because I think New England's going to go another direction, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So who do you think they might go with?
I think New England's Drake May, even though I saw today there was a mock draft where I think it was, who was it? Was it the Athletic, where they had JJ McCarthy going ahead of Drake May? I feel like it's going to go Williams 1. Washington's probably going to take Jaden Daniels, and then New England's going to go Drake May. Although I would go Jaden Daniels, but I'm not Chicago. So, but even though Justin Fields doesn't have a landing spot right now, but yeah, I feel like JJ will probably be the 4th quarterback taken. If he is the 3rd, although let's add this too, though. Pro days haven't happened yet, right? So he very well could. I mean, I'd be interested to see these odds, how much they adjust from now to draft day, right? Because now you're going to get the pro days. You're going to see if things start leaking from different camps and or different teams, So we'll see. But I mean, if I was to put my money on it, I'd put either Vikings or the Giants. I think those are the 2 teams to watch.
Well, and everybody talks about, the difference between combine and pro day. You get to throw to your receivers, or people you're familiar with. Whereas with the combine, I think he had one throw to Cornelius Johnson, maybe. And then every other throw was to somebody who he had never spent much time with. But, in the pro day, he'll be able to throw to his people, right? And he'll be able to stand out. And so I don't think it's completely impossible that he goes top 3, or extremely high. But I would prefer he doesn't, because I think that there's a sweet spot, and I feel like it's like 8 to maybe 6 to 12, somewhere in there, because then the bonus money isn't as high. So the pressure to play him on game 1, snap 1 isn't as high. He can sit a little while. And then, let's face it, Daniel Jones is not going to be able to fend off JJ McCarthy for more than a year. It reminds me of Cade McNamara, JJ McCarthy all over again.
Especially if they start losing, right? If they start losing, the fans are going to go, they're going to be on his head. So,
the Patriots would be interesting. There's obviously the Tom Brady connection in terms of, wouldn't it be something if JJ goes to the Patriots and wins some more Super Bowls? But I like the Giants. For his development, I like the Giants. For realism and what I think will happen, I agree with you. It seems like the Vikings are now by far the top candidate. But I hope he goes to the Giants personally.
Yeah, no, I think you bring up good points. I didn't even think of the New England aspect of it. That's hilarious. Yeah, so I mean, if that happens, wow, right? But I think but good on JJ, man, because like before this draft process even started, I was kind of thinking end of the first round in the late 20s or mid 20s.
Me too. Yeah,
but he's
end of the first round, maybe. Yeah,
but I mean, he's made a lot of believers in the last month and a half. I mean, you got all these scouts and analysts on Twitter, certified scouts and analysts, not just guys like people who sit and watch games on Saturday like us. You have a legitimate scouts and analysts being like, yo, you need to watch the tape on JJ. He's legitimate, right? And now people are starting to question, is he number 3? Because he worked his way to number 4, and now people are like, well, is he better than Drake May? And that's kind of where we are right now. So the process is a lot of fun to watch, and we'll see where he goes. If anyone wants to take that 150 line for the Vikings, that's probably the one I'd go with. But so good luck to JJ. We'll see where it goes.
Absolutely right. Reminder, everybody, that coming up, we've got a couple shows to let you know about. So every Friday night, we have Big Ten Live with Mark Rogers and Tim Prengley is usually on that as well, where you can actually pick up the phone and dial Mark and go old school and have a conversation with him that way to talk Big Ten football. And then Monday nights, of course, at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have a show called The Ocho, or now Big Ten Live Ocho Edition, as we're officially calling it, where yesterday night we had Daniel House, who is the founder of Gophers Guru. And we were talking Minnesota football, and not just college football, but I definitely brought up the situation with Kirk Cousins and the possibilities there of JJ. And so anybody who wants to check that out, that was last night, and that's available on the main channel. Coming up next is going to be Oregon Ducks live at midnight tonight. So those of you want to stay up a little bit, maybe you don't have to get up like I do at early and get going, but I'm going to try to stop by, hit the like button at least. If y'all can do that for the different channels, we do appreciate those Michigan faithful that show up to the USC show, that show up to Oregon, that show up to X, Y, and Z show and support the others. It's really cool. And we have a pretty awesome Michigan community that supports everybody here. So we appreciate that. So with that said, last but certainly not least, of course, is you and kind of giving your kind of final thoughts on what you've been seeing this week and then where people can find you.
Yeah. So final thoughts. We're a week away from spring ball where things are about to get exciting. We got visits starting next Monday, I think is the first visit for recruiting. So that'll be fun to follow. And, let's see who this mystery coaching candidate is, because I'm pretty excited to see, who actually becomes our next running back coach. But if you want to find me, I'm at Ronin Sports Talk. You can give me a follow, and I'll greatly appreciate that. And if you guys can like and subscribe to the channel, I know John would greatly appreciate that, because we're trying to build it and beat Ohio State, because we can't let them win. That's not acceptable by any means, and it would really mean a lot to us. So. Please like and subscribe, and, we'd really appreciate it.
Well, TJ, that means a lot, and exactly what he said. So I got to take a break from saying it one time, and so that's always appreciated. TJ, really appreciate you stopping by as always. Go Blue, And I'm gonna wrap up for a second, and then we'll be done. But we'll see you next time. Okay.
See you next time. Go Blue.
Go Blue.